Hello, this is Monday the 21st of March, and if you've tuned into our YouTube channel and are expecting to listen to Guy, I'm sorry to tell you that Guy's not feeling very well just at the moment, so I'm afraid you're going to have to put up with me on this occasion. Guy, if you are listening to this, we wish you well, we wish you a speedy recovery, and it'd be good to have you back in your normal Monday slot just as quick as you're able. But I thought I would take this opportunity, this extra opportunity that I have this week, to make a plea to you all, an impassioned plea, an increasingly urgent plea, basically just for help and for serving the Lord. Friends, there's more and more work needing to be done for the extension of God's kingdom, and there's fewer and fewer people about to do that work. The pandemic, of course, hasn't helped, and a lot of people who have taken some time out from doing stuff, well, they've decided just not to come back. They've managed and they haven't done it for a couple of years, and they're not re-engaging with the ministry in which they used to be involved in. Now, I'm not speaking specifically about our own church. It is a factor that we have to contend with as well in Larbert, but it's a factor generally among the church at large. And as I said, it's becoming increasingly apparent as things try to get back to normal. Things are opening up again in spite of the ongoing pandemic. But we do seem, generally speaking, to be having that difficulty of getting people to man all the things that need to be done. So I have been talking, and this is nothing new, friends. I talk to people all the time throughout my ministry. I'm talking to people, well-meaning people, sincere people, good, solid, sound, believing Christians, and they want and they would love to serve the Lord. Now, life is busy, and although people want to do so much, there's so many other things, legitimate things, that get in the way. We talk to young people who are really involved in the work of the youth, and all of a sudden they find themselves a girlfriend, they get engaged, and they have to take a break from that work because they're getting married, and that's understandable. There's a lot involved. There's a lot of organisation involved in getting married. So that's what happened, and it takes them away from what they were doing. Then when we get married, well, we've got to put the house together, and that's expensive. And nowadays it usually takes both husband and wife. They both have to work to make ends meet, get the house into shape, and that's understandable as well. There's nothing wrong with that. But then again, they try to re-engage in the Lord's work, and perhaps the children come along, and we know how demanding and how time-consuming and how wonderfully responsible you have to be where children are concerned. But again, life is busy, and they have to concentrate on that. And although they want to do more for the Lord, they just can't get back to doing it. And of course, when your own kids grow up and grow away, what are we left with? Well, some of us have experienced having to look after grandchildren and do the school runs and so forth. So there's always something. And before we know it, friends, we turn around and we've got to an older age than we would like to admit. And we say, where is all that time gone? I would have loved to serve the Lord, and yet I haven't been able to. Well, there is, as I've said at the beginning, there's more and more and more work to be done. There's less and less people to do that work. So my impassioned plea to all of you is, wherever you are and whatever age you are and however busy you are, can you please, please, please make it a priority to pray about and consider serving the Lord in your local church in some capacity. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to commit to something every single week. You can partner with somebody, you can be a relief for somebody who's under pressure, but can you consider at least serving in some way that would take the pressure off those who are burdened down with the busyness of life and are trying to serve the Lord at the same time? So ask yourself, that's my plea, ask yourself how you're serving at the moment. Are you serving at the moment? And if you are, how can you improve? How can you help? How can you redirect your service for the Lord in the most meaningful way? I remember reading an illustration. I probably shared this with you before. I think I've mentioned it at least once in church, but I remember reading the back of a commentary. And there was a little story there about a couple who had retired. And this was a couple, by the way, who had said, we put off serving the Lord until we retire, because when we retire, we'll have more time. We won't have the same financial commitments and so forth. And we will be able, hopefully, to do something more for the Lord. It didn't work out that way, friends, because this particular couple, they decided when they retired that they would buy a boat and they would travel around the world, enjoying themselves and relaxing. And as they did that, they collected seashells from wherever they were. And after a few years of retirement, they had a vast, wonderful collection of seashells. And the point that the commentator was making was, when you stand before the Lord on Judgment Day, and he asks you what you've been doing for him and how you've been serving, what are you going to say? Like that couple, are you going to say, well, we didn't actually get round to serving you in any way, shape or form, but Lord, look at our wonderful collection of seashells. I've nothing against people collecting seashells, friends, but what eternal value will that collection have on the last day? Again, I've mentioned to folk in passing that the very last thing, or one of the very last things that the Lord told us to do before he left earth, was to go into all the world, the Great Commission, go into all the world and make disciples, etc., etc., etc. And again, as we stand before the Lord on Judgment Day, maybe he'll look at us and he'll say, what was that last thing that I told you to do? Oh yeah, go and make disciples. Well, tell me, how did you get on? How many disciples have you made? How many disciples have I made while here on earth? Friends, it's an important job, serving the Lord. I know life is busy. I know that. I appreciate that. But I also know that we always manage to make time to do the things that are really important, or to do the things that we really want to do. So I leave my impassioned plea with you. How important is it for you to serve the Lord? Please think on that. We do need your help across the world generally. We need people to go out into the world. We need people to make disciples. We need people to work in the local church to keep our witness and our ministry going and to extend the kingdom of the Lord Jesus Christ. There's nothing more important than seeing people getting gathered into the kingdom. And it's wonderful when you and I can play our part and be used by the Lord to do something which is of eternal value and eternal significance. So please, find out what your gift is, if you don't already know, and use that gift for the Lord. And I can guarantee it will be the most satisfying and the most satisfactory thing that you will ever do. Thank you for listening. Guy, we look forward to having you back soon. But until then, thank you for allowing me to take your slot and chat to the folk today. I look forward to doing that again soon. And until then, bye for now.